Day number 4, and it's Project Tiny House. My wife would probably hope this thing falls into pieces because she hates this tiny house. But I thought it was the ideal thing to have at the beginning of the gun range where you could stand out of the weather if it got bad out and still be able to shoot from inside the garage door. So the object today is to drag that thing with chains from there all the way down by the chip pile. The worst part I see is trying to get it out from where it is because it's got to take a little bit of a turn. And hopefully the roof will clear these trees when I try to turn that corner. So let me get hooked up here and I'll get back. So I wrapped my chain through both loops on the bucket. Held up the corners of the chain with these sticks. Hopefully those sticks will hold it in place until I can get a cinch on it. Looking good so far. I think I just need to do some adjusting on that side chain up by the bucket. I think I'll pull it a little bit tight first before I get that stick out of there because that's probably helping me right now until I get some tension on it. Let me get in the tractor. Just gonna do a slight roll with the bucket. Kind of nervous about this. I don't know what's going to happen. Okay, it's falling very easily. I got tension on it. Start getting it out of them trees is going to be a real problem. So I got this one right here. That's probably going to mess up everything. I'm gonna have to take that one down, I'm sure. I can't get by that. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of at the beginning when I said I wasn't sure I could get that corner to get around that thing. I'm already rubbing pretty hard up there, but at least I got through between the two trees. But it pulls very easily. I was surprised how easily it pulls. So let me walk back to the garage, get my chainsaw, see if I can zap that one off and get going again. Well, that took a lot longer than expected. I was mostly concerned with the top because the top is leaning out farther. So I'm hoping the bottom can get by that stump right there. Had a little trouble with the tree because it decided to twist and went alongside of the tractor. So I had to get it all cut up and dragged off. So I'm already exhausted from that. I never expected have to cut it all up. I thought it was going to fall into the woods, but I should have known better because there's so many trees back in there. There's nowhere for it to go, really. So I'm going to start her up and see if we can start pulling this thing and see what happens. Just hang with me. raise the bucket up a little to get this thing to turn a little easier. It's just going right for that darn stump. Try to turn it with the bucket. I don't know if the chains will stay tight or not, but guessing the chains probably came off again. Yeah, I ain't getting anywhere. I'm gonna have to cut the damn stump off. Be back in a little bit. Okay, what happened is when the chains slipped, they went under the house. So I might be able to use that to my advantage by lifting the house up on this end. If those chains stay in place, then it should lift it up just like a forklift. Let's start it up and see. If I can lift it, then I can maneuver it around that stump a little easier, maybe. I put my stabilizer down. It's starting to tip the tractor. Okay. Just got too big a bite on that darn thing. Yeah. I'm gonna have to take that thing out. Because I believe it's back up against that tree where I moved it off of yesterday. Right up there. So I can't get enough swing on it to get around. The reason I'm trying to avoid this is because all this hardwood is just totally wrecked my saw at this point, so it takes forever to cut anything. But I'll be back. Been a nasty time since I saw you last. The weight of the tiny house kept dragging me down. There's a little ridge right down here, and the backhoe wouldn't come up out of it, so I couldn't get a straight shot to pull this thing backwards. And the doggone tree limbs right up here got caught into my backhoe controls, and everything just went sideways. So I decided at my wife's suggestion to just unhook everything and start over again. So that's what I'm doing now. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so here's what happened. This is where the tiny house used to be. First thing that happened, the tiny house got hung up on that tree right there. Had to saw that down, sawed it into pieces. Had to drag some of it over there. Then the tiny house got hooked on this one, so we had to cut that one off. This is where you could see the backhoe was rubbing up against the tree because the tiny house was pulling me off the ridge of the road right there. So right now, it's probably sitting where it's gonna be. I had to quit recording because everything was just going sideways and I couldn't do it while holding the camera, and I had to push it with the front bucket, lift it with the front bucket, turn the tractor around, get it by the corner with the teeth of the backhoe bucket. So it sustained some good damage, broke that corner off there. I mean, I think you could probably lift it up and fix some of this stuff if I feel like it. But this is broken here. You can see that the flooring is all rotted, which I didn't know before. So I don't know if it's worth salvaging this thing or what. It never got sided properly and it's been sitting here for a long time. So I don't know. There's so much to do around here. I don't know if you'd ever get time to work on that thing. But it is massive. It's like, what do we say? It's gotta be almost 20 feet deep and it's probably 8 foot wide. Maybe 8 by 18, I don't know, something like that. But it's a 2-story, so it's freaking gigantic. I think the guy used to hunt deer and he probably slept up in there. He had a circuit breaker box in there all ready to use a generator in it and everything's all halfway wired up. But if you remember, I said I wanted this thing close to the gun range that I was doing. So if you walk out the front door, the path to the range is right there. So I guess that's the only good part that came out of it. But so that's it. On to some more silliness around here. I'll catch you later. That could be it for today. Took up all my time. Have a good one.